And bee populations around the world, here in California, suffering, lots of problems affecting them. And of course, these bees play a key role in agriculture, and that's big business here on the Central Coast.
That's right. Patti Piburn is joining us now from Arroyo Grande, and she has been speaking with the bee expert, giving us all kinds of great information. And it sounds like you're in there, Patti. You're suited up and ready to go.
I am. I'm in here. I am ready. And you know what? I have the suit on for protection, but I have to tell you, I'm not afraid of bees, but I really don't need to be because they're not really interested in me. We're feeding them breakfast right now. I had a few on me, but they're not bothering me. And it was interesting because David, our bee expert, David Maisland, said, "Oh, you have a girl on you." And I said, "How do you know it's a girl?" And he said, "Well, you know, 99.9999 of them are girls, so including the queen." You know, these beehives are like a castle. There's this hierarchy, there's a queen, and our expert here, David, is showing us an example of what you call a frame. So what is going on here?
The bees are putting nectar and pollen on the outside of the brood area, the open area, and the inside area that's capped has the next generation of bees growing in it.
How long do they live?
The workers only live 6 to 8 weeks. The drones can live up to a year, and the queen can live up to 5 years. And if you can get in real tight, these open ones with the little white specks in them, there's about 7 or 8 of them, are larvae that have been, they look like they're 4 or 5 days old. It takes about 18 days to hatch a worker.
And you know that this is evidence that there's a queen living in this hive.
Absolutely, yeah. This is a hive that, actually this is a swarm that I caught. You
know, I was going to ask you about that, David. A lot of times when people have like a beehive that is a problem, they call an exterminator, they come out, they remove it, they kill the bees. You really want to see people preserving the bees. You remove them.
Absolutely. If they're in a structure, I'll bring a licensed pest control person with me because I'm not licensed to work within a home. But if they're in a shed or in a tree or a bush in the backyard, I'd be delighted to come get them.
And it's cheaper for you to do it than just to call an exterminator who typically kills the bees.
Oh, absolutely. I charge less than 1/3 of what an exterminator does, and I bring the bees back here and give them a great place to live.
Where did these come from? This is a swarm?
Actually, this came from AQMD up in San Luis Obispo. They had a swarm living in one of their water valve boxes.
So you captured them and you have them living here now. How much honey is, let's show the viewers the hive. How much honey is this hive going to produce ultimately?
Actually, this is not a full hive. I'll have to, this is a relatively new swarm, and I didn't have enough room to put them in a regular hive, so I'm missing a couple of frames in this hive.
Do you want me to take this for you so we can do the powdered sugar routine, or are you going to put that back in?
I'm going to very carefully put them back in.
Now, it's amazing. I've been watching David handle the bees, moving the frames in and out, and you're definitely the expert, been doing this since 1996, and you said to me, "I don't want to kill any bees," and he's very, very careful. Now, earlier, Randall, Sarah, we were powder sugaring the bees, and this is they eat it, but it also keeps the mites, which are part of colony collapse disorder. David, the mites are part of the problem. It's a multifaceted problem.
It is a multifaceted problem. There's a spore disease called nosema. There's a couple of bacterial diseases that they're still trying to identify. There's American foul brood and European foul brood disease. Tracheal mites, which I have essential oils in the sugar water, which pretty much take care of the tracheal mites. But the varroa mites are the real big problem, and the varroa mites get on the back of the bee and kill the bee. And the sugar allows the Minnesota hygienic bees to actually hygienically clean each other, and the sugar makes the footing on the back of the bee very slippery, so they slide off. The varroa mites slide off and drop through the bottom of the hive and die, and that's a great place for a varroa mite to be, dead.
Okay, so I feel like we have only scratched the surface, Sarah and Randall, of all there is to know about bees. You know, we talked about some of the ways that we can help the bees. Colony collapse disorder, obviously, a very complex and not fully understood phenomenon. Coming up, we're going to show you this contraption that David uses to collect pollen, which has a lot of uses, one of those mainly being to help people who want to control their allergies. Also, he has an observation hive. We don't get to see that, but we're going to let you know where you can, and it shows you the inner workings of the hive. There's so much interesting information about the queens, and you know, Randall, Sarah, you should hear this information. The queen runs it all.
She is the boss.
Yes, David says she's the boss.
Are they always? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Patty, you look becoming.
This
Bump.
fashionable. I might try this every day. What do you think?
Yes, although I prefer you in your yellow jacket. All right.
Oh.
Thank you, Patty.